You saved up for years. You finally bought your place in Florida. The sunshine, the low taxes, the lifestyle you always wanted. You're proud of it. You tell your family back home you made it. Then one day you open your insurance renewal letter, and it's gone up again. Your neighbor just listed their house for $40,000 less than they paid. The street's got 3 for sale signs now. And you're starting to wonder, did I make a mistake? Here's the thing. Florida as a whole is still growing. The headlines will tell you that. But zoom in. And some towns are telling a completely different story in 2026. Real price drops. Real people leaving. Real neighborhoods that went from waiting lists to ghost towns in less than 3 years. Today, I'm breaking down 10 specific Florida towns where people are quietly packing up and leaving. And the real reasons why. Because it's not what most people think. Before we get into it, this isn't doom and gloom for clicks. Everything I'm covering today is backed by 2025 to 2026 data. Census migration estimates, median sale price trends, days on market, inventory levels. Real numbers. And by the end of this, you'll understand exactly what's happening, why it's happening, and what it actually means for buyers, sellers, and people already living in these areas. Let's get into it. Number 1. Cape Coral. Cape Coral was basically the poster child of the pandemic boom. People flooded in, prices exploded, builders couldn't keep up. Fast forward to early 2026, and the Cape Coral-Fort Myers region has seen median sale prices fall roughly 9% year over year, dropping to around $341,000. That sounds fine until you factor in what people paid at peak. But the real killer here isn't the price drop. It's the insurance. Flood insurance in Cape Coral can run $1,700 a year on top of a homeowner's policy that can hit $8,000 or more. For a lot of middle-class families, that math just stopped working. They're not selling because they want to. They're selling because they have to. Number 2, Port St. Lucie. Port St. Lucie sold itself as the affordable alternative for families priced out of Miami and Palm Beach. And for a while it worked. But now home values are sliding 4 to 8%, and thousands of listings are just sitting there. Months on market with no serious offers. What happened? Too many homes built too fast. Demand cooled, and then the insurance bills arrived. Families who stretched to buy here are now realizing the total monthly cost, mortgage, insurance, property tax, is more than they budgeted for. A lot of them are heading inland or leaving Florida altogether. Number 3, Ocala and the Villages area. This one surprises people. The Villages is one of the most famous retirement communities in the world. But even here, the numbers are shifting. Some markets in this area are down 4% or more year over year, and seller profits have dropped sharply. The issue is specific to who lives here. Retirees on fixed incomes have almost no flexibility when costs rise. When insurance goes up $1,500 a year and HOA fees creep up and maintenance gets more expensive, some of them simply can't absorb it. Communities that had waiting lists 3 years ago are now seeing homes sit. Number 4, Sarasota. Sarasota is one of those places that always felt premium. Beaches, art scene, money, and it still has that reputation. But the data is humbling it. Some segments are seeing price drops up to 9%, listings are piling up, and buyers are holding out because they know they have leverage now. The coastal premium that made Sarasota desirable is the same thing making it expensive to insure and risky to hold long-term. A lot of owners who bought near the top are quietly listing before values fall further. Number 5, Daytona Beach and Volusia County. Inventory in this area is well above normal averages, and prices are softening by 5% or more in parts of the Daytona Beach corridor. The storm risk is real here, and insurance reflects that. What's interesting about Daytona specifically is it attracted a wave of remote workers and budget-conscious retirees during the boom, people looking for affordable beach-adjacent living. But affordable and beach-adjacent in Florida in 2026 is almost a contradiction. The costs caught up, and some of those people are now reconsidering. Number 6, Manatee County, Bradenton, and Palmetto. The broader Northport, Sarasota, Bradenton region is projecting declines around 8 to 9%. Manatee County is right in the middle of that. Surplus homes everywhere, hurricane risk, insurance pressure. What's happening here mirrors what we're seeing across the Gulf Coast. The same places that were hottest during the boom are correcting the hardest. When you overbuild into a risk zone and then the risk gets more expensive to carry, something has to give. Number 7. Lakeland. Lakeland sits between Tampa and Orlando, which made it look like a smart play. Close to 2 major job markets, cheaper than both. And it was. But now it's dealing with oversupply meeting slower demand, with prices down 4% or more. The families who moved here during the boom stretched their budgets assuming Florida's cost advantages would stay intact. Insurance costs have eaten into those advantages significantly. Some are staying put, but the net migration numbers show more people leaving this area than arriving. Number 8. Punta Gorda and Port Charlotte. This one is hard to look at. Punta Gorda was already recovering from Hurricane Charlie decades ago. It's a town that knows disaster. But after Ian, the numbers here got brutal. Close to 8% price drops with median losses over $26,000 for sellers. Insurance here isn't just expensive. It's in some cases nearly impossible to get at a price that makes ownership viable. Some residents have rebuilt twice. A lot of them are done. They're leaving and not coming back. That's not a statistic. That's people walking away from their lives. Number 9, parts of Pinellas County, including St. Petersburg. St. Pete has had a cultural moment over the last decade. Food scene, arts, young professionals moving in. But Pinellas County overall is losing population in the thousands, even as new housing units come online. Some St. Petersburg neighborhoods are seeing year-over-year declines around 10%. High-density, aging infrastructure, rising costs, and insurance challenges are pushing out the exact residents. Older, working class, fixed income, who made the area what it was. The people arriving can't fully replace that base. Number 10. Fort Myers and Northport. Fort Myers is still carrying the weight of Hurricane Ian. Northport is dealing with the aftermath of broader Gulf Coast corrections. Both are seeing values drop sharply in specific pockets, and both have residents who are exhausted from the cycle of rebuilding, rising insurance, and uncertainty. For a lot of people here, the question isn't, should I sell anymore? It's, how fast can I sell? Okay, so now you've seen the list. But what's actually behind all of this? Because people don't just leave paradise for no reason. The number one driver is insurance. And it's not close. Florida homeowners' insurance premiums are now among the highest in the entire country. We're talking $6,000 to $9,500 a year in coastal and high-risk zones. Add flood insurance on top. Another $500 to $1,700 annually, depending on where you are. For a lot of households, that's a second car payment just to stay in their house. And it keeps going up. Back-to-back hurricanes, Ian, Helene, Milton, have wrecked the reinsurance market. Insurers that stayed in Florida are raising rates aggressively or pulling out entirely. Claims are getting scrutinized harder. Denials are up. People are paying more and getting less coverage. The second driver is that the migration wave is over. Florida's net domestic inflow dropped from over 300,000 at the peak down to around 23,000 recently. That demand is gone. The people who were going to move to Florida largely already did. What's left is a market that was built for a wave that's already passed. Third, oversupply. Builders responded to the boom by building aggressively. Now there are too many homes chasing too few buyers who can actually afford the full cost of ownership. If you're in one of these towns, drop it in the comments. I want to know what you're actually seeing on the ground. And if you found this useful, subscribe. I cover this stuff every week. See you in the next one.